Welcome to Dan's haunted cottage. Step inside if you dare.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dan's Haunted Cottage. This evening you see me sort of lurking in the shadows, shrouded in darkness. And there is a very good reason for this. I'm actually sitting in the car park at the moment, and I'm waiting for my fellow investigator to arrive, who also happens to be a fellow YouTuber. And you guys will probably know him as my very good friend, Damon, from Nina the Ambulance Camper. And tonight we are going to be exploring and carrying out a paranormal investigation at Her Majesty's Prison, Gloucester. Now, Gloucester Prison is a very, very old and ancient building. It dates back to sort of 1791 when it was first built, and they closed it in 2013. It ceased to be a functioning prison purely and simply on the basis of the fact that it wasn't viable anymore. They couldn't get access for emergency vehicles in there, and the number of inmates that they had in there, which was 300, they just couldn't get the lorries in to bring that amount of food. So it got to the point where it was unusable. Now, it's got a long history, as I say, and I believe that there are many, many energies and spirits that are abound in the building itself, right the way from inmates that were possibly died of natural causes, maybe they were murdered in there, or the possibility that they were hanged at the prison itself. So even though it's an investigation for the general public, I had a word with a good lady who's running the investigation, and she has assured me that myself and Damon are allowed access to the debtors' jail, which is the oldest part, and that we won't be disturbed there. We can be locked in there and we can carry out a clinical investigation without any kind of outside interference from the general public and without any extraneous noises. So that's going to be good. It's also a spirit that roams the building itself that dates from the 1500s, prior to there being a prison built there. And it's of a young lady who is said to have been murdered on the land itself where the prison was built. And her spirit has been often seen by either inmates or by the prison service staff themselves. And there's quite a lot of documentation on that, I believe. There was a Ouija board session carried out there in, I believe it was cell 25, many years ago. And they tried to, they built this Ouija board themselves, and they tried to make communication with this spirit. And basically all hell broke loose. Things were flying around, books were being pulled out and thrown, toilet rolls, all sorts of stuff was getting thrown about the cell. And apparently a couple of evenings later, when the cellmate was in there on his own, over in the corner in the darkness, he saw a solitary hand just come out of the darkness and point at him and then disappear. They believe that is the energy of the young lady that was murdered there. That, you know, who they were trying to access, who they were trying to build some sort of communication bridge with. So, yeah, there's lots and lots of stories, as there is with all jails. And I think that jails are pretty good places to pick up on spirits and energies, purely and simply because of the emotions that play out in those buildings. So anyway, we're going to go along there this evening, myself and Damon, and we're going to carry out the investigation, and we're going to see what we get. Hopefully we'll get some activity, but as I've said before, guys, you can never tell. It might be a complete blank that we pull on this one, or we might have something. Either way, come with us and just enjoy the ride. Speak to you soon, guys. Bye now. Bye.
Up and down like there. He's got armour in pitch black.
Well, good evening, guys. As I promised you earlier, I'm now in Gloucester Prison, and I'm in here with on good behaviour. Actually, I'm actually in here doing an investigation, a paranormal investigation, with my good friend Damon from leading the ambulance camper. There you go, just over there. You can see him spinning around. There you go. Just to prove that we are here. And yeah, so we're in the what we believe to be the oldest part of the building at the moment. I believe it was actually, as I said earlier, it was built in 1791 and they closed it down in 2013. And this is the oldest part. This is what's called the debtors' jail. So we've got this for most of the evening, if not all of the evening, and obviously we've got it on our own. So in the absence of other people, that means we can hopefully get a clear and concise and well-cut investigation going, and hopefully generate enough interest and enough energy from the spirit world to enable them to communicate with us. But we'll see how that goes. It's pitch black in here at the moment. We've got our lights on. These are the only lights that we're working off at the moment. But when we go IR, we won't even have that. So we'll be working purely and simply from the screens of our cameras. So wish us luck. And if you don't hear from us, give us 2 days and I don't know, get Mulder and Scully onto it, see if they can come and find us. Otherwise, we will speak to you very soon. Cheers, guys. GoPro, stop recording. Right, guys, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you on a bit of a tour at the moment of the wing that we're in. As you can see, it is a real prison. And cells that we were just, that's the cell where Damon is. And that's where we're starting the investigation from. That's where we set our kit up. I'm just going to walk on a bit further. You can see it's quite a large building, and this is just a part of the whole of the prison, obviously. I'm not sure what this used to be. Oh, we have some knocking. Are there any spirit people here with us this evening? If that was you knocking, could you try knocking again for us, please? I heard somebody knocking. Was that you? Was that anybody from the spirit world? Would you care to knock again for me, please? It sounded like it came from this room here, guys. Oh, it's an old cell. Let's go inside. Was there somebody in here knocking? Was there somebody? If that was you, could you knock again, please? We're here with love and light. We're here with total respect. We are not here to treat you like a guinea pig or a gimmick. I heard somebody knock or something. Of course, guys, as I say, that could be just environmental, that could be just natural noises that are coming from the building itself. It did sound intentional, but sometimes these things do. So, Stephen and Damon behind me. We just carry on. Turn it around. So I'm guessing, guys, this is where people were held when they were condemned. Actually, Damon was telling me that there was 104 people hanged in this prison from the sort of 1700s through to the 1800s. And they're, I don't know if you know anything about prison hanging or prison executions, they normally leave the bodies in the grounds of the prison. So there's nothing, what we'll do is we'll set up some IRs and we'll see if we can get anything on those guys. GoPro, stop recording mode. GoPro, stop recording. I was just going to say, guys, that what's happening is that Damon has got like an IV. Is it IV? UV rather. UV torch thing, and he's turned it on and he's shined it around. I'm not going to bother showing you it because you can't. I'm sure you won't be able to see it through this camera, but we can see that there's all marks on the ceiling that look like finger marks and sprays and speckles. Now I know that UV is used by the police or by sort of crime scene investigators for picking up on blood or bodily fluids. So yeah, that doesn't. Oh my word! Is that? It's all up the walls. It's covered in it. Oh dear.
Could be urine as well, maybe.
It could be. It could be like a dirty protest that somebody's carried out. But yeah, it's not good. I mean, like I was saying about the emotions that people go through in here. I mean, that's obviously possibly anger and hate and contempt, and you know, I'm getting carried away now, but that could very well be that. So we're still waiting for something to happen. It's very quiet in this block, but you know what? There's always a quiet before the storm sometimes. Or as I say, we make it absolutely nothing. But Damon said, and I'm sure I heard it as well, some little taps out in the hall. Whether they're paranormal, I don't know. But sometimes it takes time for the spirits and energies to build up to get used to you and then communicate with you. So we'll see what happens. But yeah. So there's Damon. He's thoroughly enjoying himself.
I like playing with my toys.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. Look at it. He loves it. Look. Who was that? What was the bloke in Bond? Who invented all the? Was it Q? Q. That's what we're going to start calling Damon from now on. Q.
That's my nickname.
With all these little knickknacks and toys and gimmicks and tech that he comes out with.
No, I'll look a bit later, but I am seeing lots of things flying around. It's probably dust, but
It probably is in here, yeah. Come on, spirits. Come on, people. If you're in here, are you a male or a female? Come on, you can tell us that, can't you? Surely. Whoever you are, I hope that you've found peace and love. It also goes to prove a point as well, guys, that because it's the oldest part of the prison, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the most haunted. People run away with the idea that this is the case with old buildings and places that have got a lot of history. But what you have to remember is that sometimes new builds can be just as haunted, if not more haunted, than some of these places that we go in with this preconception of what it's going to be like.
my phone in flight mode. I thought that was a good point there. I've got my K2 here, should I put that in?
Yeah, go for that. Yeah, I've got some bits and bobs I've brought with me. I brought quite a bit of stuff, unfortunately. I say unfortunately, I didn't realise the walk from the car park to here. It's not that bad, but I am very fat and old. So Damon, if you can have a look, he's set. I'll turn you around. He's set his K2 up over there. Don't know if you're not getting a... There you go. So if there are any spirit energies in here, if there's anybody from behind the veil that would like to come forward and communicate with us tonight, you will see that there's a machine that Damon has just put down. He's just turned it up there. And this is what we call it's an EMF machine, and it picks up on stray electromagnetic field. If there's a disturbance in the field, it will pick it up. And generally there's only disturbance in the field if an energy comes close to it, and that energy is what we believe you to be built from, or what we're all built from. So would it be possible to come forward and maybe make the lights on that go up and down? If you can make it register and fluctuate, that will be one.
That's your voice making something vibrate. I don't know if it's there.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well spotted.
So when your voice gets a bit boomy,
Oh, right. I
it's
thought it was
very,
spirit.
it's very echoey.
It is. I thought it was spirit complaining. Well spotted, Damon. Excellent. So Damon, we did hear, I heard something vibrating, and as Damon quite rightly said and pointed out, because it's echoey in here, my voice, as it's loud, it creates a vibration possibly on the lights over there. So yes, Spirit, if you'd like to come forward to communicate, if you'd like to move towards that machine that Damon's put over there, I promise you it won't do you any harm. If it do you any harm, I would not... That wasn't me, was it?
No, so it clicks up in here and out there.
Right, I'm going to take a look outside, guys. Some clicks coming outside. Damon's been hearing them, I've been hearing them. Is there anybody here? You made some clicks earlier. Could you make some clicks again for me, please? Could you come forward? Could you materialise in front of me? Could you possibly show yourself to us? Is that your footsteps I could hear? That's Damon, that is. I'm on my own, you can come forward. I don't mean any harm. Hope you don't. You can materialise in front of me if you wish. Tell me who you are, perhaps we could have a chat. Perhaps you're a shadow. Could you move? Could you move as a shadow? Wow. Are you behind me? Can I see you, not rear view? Would you make some more tapping this evening for us, please? It'd be very, very much appreciated. All these cells, guys, look at them. And this one here, Damon's in on his own. Come on, I'll walk down there. Come and say hello if you like. I can't see you, but I'm sure you can see me. I'm on my own. Right, I think I might have worked out what that is, Damon. I think I might have worked out what that noise is. It's raining outside, and
is it building up?
it's and I think there's somebody walking out there, and it's sort of wet footsteps. But we'll see. Sometimes the best activity you get is if you sit there and wait for it. But we'll see. The battery's going dead on this now, so I'll have to change it over for a new battery. So I'll speak to you shortly. Right guys, so we are actually back to full power now. That was one battery gone through, so we'll see. We've got another 3 or 4 batteries I think, so hopefully we'll get something with those. Your church bells?
Yeah, the maybe it's just over the way there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's quite ominous, guys. I just heard church bells. For whom the bell tolls, as they say.
It sounded quite cheerful though, to be fair.
It'd be quite nice if you were on there on your own, laying here at night, and well, it wouldn't be nice, but relaxing, I would have thought. Unless you were condemned, bless them. So this is the thing, lots of people, I was saying to people before, that if you're going to get into ghost hunting, it's a great thing to get into, and sometimes it can be very, very exciting, but most of the time it's just sitting in the dark in a reportedly haunted property waiting for something to happen, and you know, a huge proportion of the time nothing happens, but when something does, it makes that, you know, it's all of that boring time worth it, worth the wait. Well, it's not boring, I don't find it boring, I find it interesting, it's quite relaxing. Are you enjoying it, Damon?
Yeah. It's, playing with the toys has like alleviated the boredom a bit, but I don't feel that worried.
No, because
I thought I'd feel more worried being in. I mean, it's just us two in this whole wing.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel anything. I thought I'd feel more scared or something, but I don't.
No. And that's the thing, isn't it? A lot of people run away with the idea that it's terrifying, and do you know, it's not really. It's like being at home with the lights out, to be honest with you. It's quite comfortable.
I'd probably be more scared at home with the lights out than I am here.
You would. So yeah, actually, it's quite therapeutic. I think you almost go into a sort of meditative state. Sometimes you can get so relaxed that you sort of chill out. But sometimes that's good, because sometimes, well, I'm talking like a bit of a hippie now, but sometimes when you go into that state, you can make some form of connection. That's when things start to happen. And things also start to happen when you ignore them, because the one thing that I've learned over the years is that energies and spirits do not like to be ignored. And when you stop talking to them or about them, they generally sort of come forth and do things. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Even the LED LCD screen on the back of this is lighting up out there.
It is it?
Yeah, you can see it.
Oh yeah.
That's just the screen.
And that's just the screen, isn't it?
On the back, yeah.
Brilliant.
Right, I'll turn you on again in a minute.
Yeah, I think we'll give it a break for a second. Well, everything will happen now, you watch. If it does, I'll get the camera on quick, don't worry. Right, I don't know if you can hear it, guys, it's absolutely pouring down outside, so this is kind of, unless you get something that's very, very defined, this is where you kind of throw out anything that you get or anything that you think you're hearing. You obviously got to negate it, put it to the back of your mind and move forward and just say, look, I can't use it, because the discrepancy as to whether it's what you're hearing is footage, is paranormal, or is activity, I should say, or purely and simply rain and weather. And when it's that bad, like it is out there now, it's hard to sort of differentiate what's what, so you can't use it. It's different if it storms, actually, because the thing with storms is it's high amount of electric in the air, in the atmosphere, and what happens is it kind of charges the atmosphere with an electricity, and you know, this is when a lot of these purportedly haunted properties become active, purely and simply because the air is being charged, the atmosphere is being charged, and spirit are using the energy from that, it's believed. But this is just communal garden rain and a lot of it, so yeah, we can't use that. Still quiet here, still nothing happening. Speak to you in a bit. Right, so same cell, Nothing happening. We're hoping we'll have a turn of events pretty soon and get some activity. Come on, Spirit, I know you're there.
We've still got the EMF meter set up
Yes.
by the door, away from the electric socket. And if anything's coming through the door, hopefully we'll see the energy.
Pick up on that, there you go, right over there. That's where Damon's put it. You can see it, there you go.
I've got my phone in flight mode, so that's not going to affect it.
No, that's all good. You would have thought, wouldn't you, that two blokes in a prison, well, basically a whole wing on their own, purportedly haunted, you'd have thought they'd have got some sort of activity. But no, not yet anyway.
Now, our little chat we had when we first came in, we had to go into a hall and have a little chat with everybody, by the people that run into this evening. They had a medium speaking. And he seemed to be saying that it was the most haunted place he'd been to, didn't he?
Yes, yeah, he was. It's exactly what he said.
So,
it was apparently, he says it's the most haunted thing, but you know, with me and mediums.
you reckon he'd done over 700, did he say? Not here, but 700 of these events, or did I got that wrong?
No, he did say 700, which made me raise an eyebrow ever so slightly, because that's an awful lot of investigations. I've been doing it for a lot of years now, and I don't think I've even topped 700. So, yeah, no, I can't see the credibility behind that. I mean, he might have done, but I'm not seeing it myself.
No, and his whole tact seemed to be to... he was basically saying to everybody in the group, you could be feeding this, you could be feeding that, you might see this, you might see that. And of course now he's put the suggestion in their heads that they might feel sick, they might faint. Of course someone probably will now. And we'll never know if it was genuine or not.
No.
A suggestion.
No.
That's the problem. They shouldn't really say that.
No.
Do you think?
No, exactly. As Damon said, the power of suggestion is an amazing thing when you're on one of these events, because I heard something out there, but that could be anything, I guess.
Clicks again.
Was it a click again?
Yeah.
So yeah, the power of suggestion is an amazing thing, and it can lead you in all sorts of directions. And they say, and he said quite rightly so, you use your body to feel the environment. It's probably the best tool that you've got for a ghost hunt, but it's also leading people kind of to feel things by the power of suggestion, and it's making them feel that they're getting dizzy or tired, or they're getting attacked or what have you. But I don't know. He did have some stories that he told us. I'm not going to say the man was lying. He could have very well been telling the truth. I don't know.
They were good stories.
They were good stories.
And that camera makes a little noise going from IR to...
So it might be.
No, it's not switching.
It's not.
It shouldn't be. I put it to manual, so... the IR isn't on at the moment.
Right.
We'll see when the IR is on, so we'll see the red lights on the front. But it's that sort of noise. If I give it now...
Right. Sorry guys, that's...
See if you think this is the same noise as we're hearing.
No. No, it's a different clicking noise. I think it's not as
similar.
Abrupt. It's similar, but not as abrupt. But then it could be a million and one things. It could be anything to do with the building. The building could be naturally, and it's raining. We don't know what effect that's having on the building or the roof itself. So,
it's actually your voice is making something click over there, because it's quite boomy in here.
Yeah, and I am loud.
And you do have quite a boomy voice.
I do have a boomy voice. I do.
And it does make something in here vibrate.
I prefer to call it operatic. I do have a boomy voice. Somebody said to me once, "You've got a voice that could wake up the dead." I said, "I just want to contact them. I don't want to wake them up." We shall see. But the I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, won't it, when we go out with the rest of them, how they behave around those members of staff.
Yeah, I mean, whatever happens tonight, nothing may happen. May find something. We're a bit. I thought we might have more area to cover than we've got. But there is a break coming. They're going to do a switch around at some point, and I don't know whether we'll get to go anywhere else then. I'm actually not sure when they're coming back for us.
No, probably forgotten about us.
Wasn't clear. But that's fine. You work with what you got, don't you?
Absolutely.
And we're in the right place. I mean, spirits aren't bound to, as far as I know, just one place.
No.
I'm sure they can freely move from one place to another. And at the moment, I just don't feel. I'm quite happy to walk around on my own in this corridor, which I didn't think I would be, but I'm not feeling anything.
It's quite relaxing in here, really, isn't it? It's quite.
Yeah. This is the sick bay, basically.
Yeah.
Healthcare. So. There was people getting attention in here which they might not have been getting in the cells, maybe. So, do you think? Maybe.
It may very well have been that. It may be. Yeah, it may very well have been that. I think what will be interesting as well is the fact that I'll guarantee you that if we speak to anybody that's on the other event, on the main event itself, that they will, we've had this, we've had X, Y and Z. And what they're probably doing is, the team could be winding them up to a crescendo, so they're imagining that they're hearing things or envisaging it in their own heads, or because it's such a large crowd of people that well, just that, and also you're going to get people making noises, and it's not a sterile environment, so there are going to be natural noises that.
I don't think I was in here.
Is it not?
No,
I thought it sounded like a teaspoon or something.
The thing is, if they're in A wing, like the main wing, that is part of this building.
Is it?
So we're going to hear.
So that's going to fly through.
So,
it is a very echoey property, isn't it? Which it is, and that's the thing. The thing is as well, if they're all together, they're going to be making noises, and they're going to be misrepresenting those noises and thinking there's something they're not, and running away with the idea that it's activity when it's just general environmental noise created by either the people or the building or the weather. You don't know.
We could be sitting in a cell that for some reason is there's some sort of barrier to coming into the cell to spirit.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was any electric on, but if you go into the hallway, the overhead lights have got power going to them because there's some like LED light coming out.
So there's still electricity running through here. Yeah.
There's nothing in this room.
No, just on the main.
Just on the main corridor. There might be a switch on the outside actually that switches it on in here. I don't know.
See, that's the thing. So there's still electricity running through the building, and you just don't know. I mean, you might get something, you might get nothing. Do you know what? It's a gamble. You take everything into consideration, then you try and move the puzzle around until you get it fitting, and get it to make the right fit, and then hopefully you get activity. Maybe not. Maybe it's something entirely different from what you expect, or what you envisage it to be.
And if you wanted, there's another cell exactly like this, just down there with a seat.
Yeah, we could go down there. Do you fancy going down there?
Try another one.
Yeah.
Okay, then we're breaking this kit.
Yep.
At the moment.
Sorry guys, I'm a bit fuzzy.
And,
gone all fuzzy then. Gone all fuzzy.
We've got all this kit in
Right,
as well.
we're going to go down a bit and check another cell out.
Yeah. Cell next
Follow
door is
Damon.
the bed on the opposite side. Or there's one just up there that's got the same layout as that one.
Whatever one you fancy, mate. Go into whatever one you called you.
3 is the magic number.
Could be, you never know.
Try.
Let's have a look. As you can see, we're still.
So we've got kind of mould on the ceiling. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, it's not.
It's, I mean, this is a very, very old building that hasn't been used properly since 2013. So
It's going to get damp, isn't it?
yeah. So I'm going to set you up down there.
Alright, I'll over here.
Right.
Oh.
Put that up over there.
Right. There's Damon.
Sit by the doorway then. First line of
First line of defence.
this one's cold.
It's cold.
So you're probably seeing me and you're seeing the doorway.
Yeah.
So if anything comes in, oh, it's cold.
It's freezing, isn't it? Makes you wonder, doesn't it, if anybody's attempted to commit suicide and they've put them in here.
There's no camera or anything like there is in the one we just
No.
came off. God, this seat is really cold. I'm not cold, so it's not that kind of thing, but the seat is
Just to say, it's freezing, isn't it? It's not paranormal, it's cold seat.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing they would have had, I think they called them Raw 43s. I think, for some reason, I don't know how I know that, but Raw 43s were people that were considered vulnerable, and they put them on night watch and 24-hour watch to make sure they didn't commit any harm to themselves or suicide. So I can clearly hear water dripping.
I can hear voices as well. There's definitely voices trying.
It's carrying through, isn't it? I think it's the other. There's
is.
quite a few people here this evening.
Yeah, the hall was packed.
It was.
So yeah, I mean, we sat next to some decent people, weren't we?
Yeah, they were nice. Yeah, nice couple of ladies. Yeah.
They were here for proper reasons, not just to scare. I think they wanted. Although I think that one was a little bit of a.
I don't think it would take much to convince her that everything was paranormal.
No.
Bless her. But she was a very nice lady. She's a very nice lady.
She did seem addicted to it. Would it help
She
to
did.
put that EMF meter actually on the threshold, do you think?
You can. Yeah, whatever you feel. We just move things about generally and just see how things go. And this is it. This is as exciting as it gets.
Oh. With the little flashes, I put it down, but it's gone onto a metal door strip there.
So Damon's put it there. If you can see.
It hasn't gone off
Just on the
much yet, it's
doorstep there.
just got the initial light on that shows it's on, but it's not gone off at all.
There you go.
So I'm assuming that will start lighting up if you put your EMF pump on.
Yeah, it would do. If you put it close, it would. Yeah, it would. We're going to put the probably give that a try. Actually, that EM pump.
Yeah.
We'll give that a try and see if we can build up some energy with that in the environment and see if we can get any kind of activity through that in a bit. We'll see how it goes.
So I'm just going to give you a little bit of history of Gloucester Prison.
Oh, it's interesting, the history.
So it was built in 1791. It was closed in 2013. Hasn't been used since then, apart from tours and things like this, ghost tours. It's actually being used at the moment for airsoft as well. We saw when we came in.
Yeah.
There's pellets everywhere.
We
weren't here. They weren't here when I did the day tour, the daytime tour. That wasn't here. So it's got energy from that as well. And
Yeah.
airsoft is quite a produces a lot of
Sort of energetic.
Yeah, it's very energetic, and actually, people are getting, because there was an airsoft. My cousin, Jen's cousin, does that, and did it, and he says it hurts a lot. So you get that kind of.
Yeah, it's not something I would like to participate in, to be honest with you.
So there is a ghost apparently, mainly on A-Wing, I think, which is the main, not this part, the main part. Her name was Jenny Godfrey, so say.
Yeah, I was telling about earlier.
She was murdered on the prison site, apparently, before the prison was built, one of the stories goes. And she's said to still be looking for her killer and appearing in the prison in places. Her ghost has been seen by both prisoners and guards, and Another story is she could have been a prisoner from the nearby abbey. Much later than when prison was, much earlier than when prison was built. This is obviously an infamous ghost, isn't it? Because everybody seems to know about her.
Yes, yes.
So much so that in 1969, one of the inmates, called Robert Gore, held a seance in cell 25, apparently.
Remember I was talking about this earlier, guys?
On A Wing, trying to contact Jenny using a makeshift Ouija board, using bits of paper and a glass. Got more than he bargained for. I think there was a group of prisoners doing the seance, and some objects were thrown around, books and a flower pot, apparently. What a flower pot was doing in the cell. And then a few days after they did this seance, the cellmate, the guy in the cell, saw a disembodied hand appear in front of him, point at him, and then disappear. So,
I wonder if he ever re-offended when he got out.
There's nothing I've read that says that happened again. So, maybe the mould in the prison was causing him to hallucinate or something, I don't know.
But that's a very good point, because do you know what, a lot of these old buildings that people say are haunted, if real parapsychologists go in there and they test the environment by taking scrapings of the paint, but they'll take bits of the furniture to test it for see if there's any kind of poisons in it.
Yeah, I mean, paint used to have lead in it.
It did, yeah. It did, and people hallucinated through that, didn't they?
So, this prison probably very well did have paint that had lead in it at some point. It's very, very old. What we're talking, 200...
1791?
Yeah, 230 years
yeah,
old.
It's quite old. And you were saying, isn't it 104 people executed here?
104 people were executed between when it was built and 1864, I think it was.
That's a lot of people in a short time.
102. Was it 102? 94 men and 8 women.
Oh, you might be right, it might be 102 actually.
Yeah. And,
a lot of people, irrespective.
They were all hung. Part of A Wing, the top landing, the top group of cells, they were actually moved along the one side of the cells, and when they got to the end cell, they were due for hanging, because the hanging point was right next to that cell.
Yeah.
So when you got put in that cell, that was it for you. You got pushed out the side of the building quite high up, and that was it. That was it.
That's the way they used to do it years ago. It's like you see all these things where they've got scaffolding and that, and yeah, they did use that. But prisons established a way of, right up until the 1950s, where they hanged people like, I'm trying to think of the lady's name now, Ruth Ellis, and was it Bentley? When they hanged him, it was a case of you were in the end cell, and then there was a false wall, and then you were straight out and boom, straight hung, literally, within a second. But that was in the days when Pier Point was...
Once they stopped using that hanging point, they brought in a scaffolding gantry, which was quite low, and when the prisoners were hung on that, apparently, they were still able to touch the ground, so they didn't actually break their neck. It took some of them minutes, apparently, to die, which must have been horrible. A few seconds you can think wouldn't be too bad, but minutes. If you think how long a minute is, to be hanging on the end of a rope by your neck for 3 minutes, that's a long time.
And this is where we get the saying, guys, pulling your leg, because what they used to do years ago is if the family or friends of the person that was being hanged, if they had some money, they would then give it to the executioner, and he would let them get under the gantry and hang on their legs, and pulling them down to dispatch them even quicker. And that is where we get the saying today, pulling your leg.
And there is actually a story of that happening here at Gloucester Prison.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me. That's a lot of people, guys. The sad thing is, how many of those were innocent, and how many of those were hanged for what would be today considered misdemeanors.
Yeah, and you could just steal a potato or something and
Feed your family,
yeah.
and that's it. You've had it. Hard times.
Prisoners have reported knocks and banging, slamming doors, and seeing shadowy figures in C wing, which was the newer wing that was built in the 1970s. I think it was 1971.
Wow, see, like we were saying, perhaps they disturbed something.
And apparently there was a sceptical prison officer who went into a cell and it locked behind him despite the cell not being fitted with a lock at that time. So, yeah, whether that made a believer out of him, I don't know. Or whether that story is true, I don't know.
That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it could be down to legend. You know what the internet's like.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's just a little bit of what I was finding out before I came in tonight.
You were saying there wasn't there a couple that were hanged here for murdering their daughter or something?
Yeah, that was the first private hanging. There was the hangings from 1791 to 1864 were public hangings, and obviously people were invited in to watch them being pushed out the side of the building. No, would that have happened then?
Yeah, it probably would, wouldn't it, I would imagine, yeah.
The first private hanging took place on a raised scaffold in the prison yard on the 8th of January 1874, when 20-year-old Frederick Jones was executed by William Colcraft, a hangman famed for bungling hangings, resulting in him swinging on condemned legs. On a raised scaffold in the prison yard.
Pulling your leg.
Frederick Jones was being hung for killing his girlfriend Emily Gardner. On the 12th of January 1874, the hangman Robert Anderson asked for a pit to be dug underneath the gallows, these scaffolding gallows, for the triple hanging of Edward Butt, Mary Ann Berry and Edwin Bailey. Butt had killed his girlfriend, and Mary and Edwin had poisoned Edwin's illegitimate baby girl, who they considered to be a nuisance. Mary was the last woman to suffer the short drop hanging and struggle for 3 minutes.
So you can see there's a lot of energy here that's been built up over the centuries. There's lots and lots of emotions, as I said earlier, and it's got to manifest somewhere, and I'm sure that the environment, this building, I'm sure that it's absorbed some of that somewhere along the way.
I mean, concrete as well, it's sort of like a sponge.
It is.
Especially only for water, so...
It is.
Like for energy.
It's an interesting and intriguing thing.
And all that time I've been saying that, I haven't been watching that EMF meter.
Never mind, we'll be fine.
Probably been flashing away like goodness knows what.
Right, I'm going to stop for a bit now, guys, and get back to you a little bit later.
Wing is just kind of okay.
Very quiet, isn't it? So what I've brought here, guys, I've got the EM pump, which is, if you can see it there, guys. Basically what I do is you turn it on and it throws out magnetic energy, and see it there, probably hear it as well. This isn't those silent ones. And what it does is it allows spirit, or it enables spirit to utilise that energy. They can use it like we could, it's like a snack bar basically. They can build their own energy up through using this, and it allows or enables them then to be active. You can see that it's throwing out there on the K2 meter. Now I have had activity with these before. I've had one, as I said before, thrown. So
Show them.
is that the, yeah, if you have a look there, Damon's K2 meters lighting up, so it shows you the energy that that's throwing out. That's quite a lot of energy that's throwing out. So I'm going to place it over there, and we're going to see if spirit wants to come forward and absorb that energy.
Is there any point in keeping this on, or?
You can do, or
I'll put it there.
I'm going to put this. I also have the Paranologist machine. It's pretty much like Damon's K2 meter, but as spirit gets close to it, you can do it with that. You can see, look, it's picking up. What it does is the energy from spirit can hopefully get that moving as well. So I'm going to turn you around so you can look at the the kit and hopefully see it in action. You can hear that buzzing. That is the EM pump. Right, are there any spirit energies here, any people here from the spirit world that would like to come forward and identify themselves to me this evening, please? It's just myself and Damon that are here, and we are here with top respect and love. We wish you no harm. In fact, if you look on the shelf over here, I'll point to it, that is an EM pump, and that throws out lots and lots of energy. And if you come close, you can absorb that energy, and hopefully it will give you enough impetus to, I don't know, maybe manifest yourself or pick something up, talk to us, shout, scream, whistle, knock, tap, just so that we get a verification that you're here. You can see in the corner over there, guys, that paranology machines, which is pretty similar to the K2 electric magnetic field machine that Damon's got over there. Spirit gets close to it, it makes it, basically it picks up on the energy and it allows it to light up. So just go forward when you're ready, if you're ready and if you want to. I promise you, like all of the equipment I have here or we've got, none of it will hurt you, I promise you this.
Since you put that on my nose and face, it's feeling a bit cold.
Is it really?
Mm.
Oh. Now if you look over there, it's lighting up.
Thank you. Can you do that again?
That'd be wonderful if you could, please. Footsteps. Can you hear that, Ben?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's.
I'm not sure if it's bleeding through from somewhere.
I'm not sure if it's heavy rain. It sounds like a lot of footsteps.
It could be. It could very well be. Oh no! Is that? Did yours just light up then? I'll have to review this on footage. That was very kind of you, I appreciate that. Would you please come forward and do that again? Could you move towards that machine that you made light up earlier and try and do it again for us, please? It would be ever so kind of you and wonderful if you did.
Definitely feeling more chilly.
Are you?
Mind you, it does sound like it's absolutely started pouring down.
It sounds horrible.
So it could just be a natural drop in temperature because of that.
Would you just verify that you were here for us, please, by moving forward to that machine that you made light up earlier and make it light up again, please? Would you do that for us? It would be very kind of you. But that isn't the machine that you'll get your energy from. It's this one here in the middle. That one there.
If that's throwing out electromagnetic energy,
Yeah.
could that be swirling around the room and that would enable it to do it?
No, not no. It has to be pretty close to it to pick up on that. And if it did, it would be doing it again, 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 I guess.
It's quite pretty when it does it, doesn't it?
It does look pretty cool, yeah. Come on, Spirit, if you're there, please make contact with us. Please come forward for us.
I am sat next to an open door, but I'm definitely feeling chill at the moment. Not chill as in relaxed, but chill as
Just
in
like
cold.
getting cold.
Yeah. But it coming up from this bloody seat.
Yeah, that seat is freezing. Right, I'm going to stop you there, guys, and then get back to you in a bit. Hopefully something will happen and get it on foot, get it on film.